And the Super Bowl is complete. The Dynasty complete. Back-to-back Super Bowl wins complete for the Kansas City Chiefs. Bucks McGee, I guess you got to deal with another several months of Taylor Swift in the news cycle.
Oh, they're breaking up. Don't worry, something's gonna happen. Travis is gonna like go out somewhere. They're gonna go somewhere. Some girl's gonna look at Travis, and the next thing you know, you're gonna find out Travis has a wandering eye or something. This ain't lasting. I'm good. It's over.
It's
I can
over.
I can watch the what's it the UFL now, and I don't have to worry about seeing Taylor Swift. Football will be good in the spring.
The Rock saves you yet again.
That's right. That man loves me.
So let's talk about how this game went. And the first half to maybe into the third quarter a bit was a bit of a struggle fest, to say the least.
Oh
Thought it
yeah,
defensive
offense.
plays.
Their offense was a dirty word to that whole thing.
Yeah.
But it was the kind of game that I think San Fran knew for them to win. That's what they had to play. I think it played well into San Fran's hands because they were running the ball. Yeah, they couldn't score, but they were keeping Mahomes on the bench. I think the game went well. And then all of a sudden, like you said, just after, into the third quarter, San Fran decides, oh no, let's not run. Let's make Brock Purdy a passing machine.
Yes. I think you're right. That probably was the recipe they needed. However, they needed to finish off some drives. They needed to cash in, and then that started to come back to bite them as they start having some more 3-and-outs. So all of a sudden, all these successful drives that ended in fumbles or missed field goals or whatever the case may be, it kind of was just came back around to haunt being a house of horrors, so to speak, when they didn't have any points to show for the defense playing like they were, and like you said, controlling the clock with Patrick not on the field.
No, but that was the key. If they had run the ball during like that midway through the third on, they probably would have put up at least 3 more points. And then I think the game takes a total different look. Then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter or so, towards the end, they're like, oh, we remember the run game. Here you go, yes. Christian. Here, go ahead. Like, if the guy led the league in rushing yards, you've got, an all-pro fullback behind there. Run it. Purdy, they made Purdy uncomfortable. He made some throws, but for the most part, he was uncomfortable for most of the game. So it reminded me of the Baltimore game. They went totally against what got them to the dance, and that's how Kansas City beat them. This was the same thing. All of a sudden, it was like, all right, let's start throwing the ball. We don't have to run. We'll be fine. You couldn't do it, so run the ball. And I believe that was their downfall. I give Kansas City all the credit in the world. But in my opinion, I kind of feel that San Fran lost this more than Kansas City won it.
Yeah, and that with the kind of losing track of where they're going. I mean, CMC, that first possession out of the gate, he was a monster. He was going down the field. Then he has the big fumble, and then it was kind of like more the Brock Purdy show. And now, granted, McCaffrey still finished with a monster game, 160 total yards. He scored the touchdown off the trick play, but McCaffrey was overall, the turnover. McCaffrey was McCaffrey. He was the machine.
No, he totally was. And you went away from him at the most pivotal part of the game. Like, you weren't scoring points, but eat the clock. Even if that means Moody's getting you a couple threes, then you're good because you've controlled Kansas City's offense. Because Kansas City was all out of sorts. They couldn't do anything. And the next thing you know, on the defensive end, it just kind of seemed like they let up a little bit. They started changing some things. They started doing some zero blitzing towards the end of the game, which made no sense. Made no sense to me whatsoever. And at that point, you played right into Kansas City's hands. And then Mecole Hardman, the Kadarius Toney of the year.
Yes.
So, like I said, I just feel San Fran let up, didn't stick to what got them there. Now, they did get nicked up towards the end of the game. There were a couple guys who got nicked up, but still, they were. I felt they were in control of this game for the most part, but went away from what got them to the dance, and Kansas City made them pay.
Do you think it hurt San Francisco at all not to spread the ball around to all their weapons? McCaffrey was an animal, but Debo was pretty much a non.
No, definitely. I think Debo was hurt. I guess he had a hamstring issue, so he wasn't as potent as he would have been. I think the run game, if they had continued with it, would have opened up the pass game a bit more. But once they got away from that and just wanted to pass, Kansas City just clamped down. They just brought the pressure. And Kansas City has quality corners. Their secondary is a solid, great secondary. So at that point, you played right into their hands. I think they just continued running the ball, and they probably would have been able to get Kittle going, but Kittle got hurt a little bit. He came back in at the end, but I think them getting away from what they do best would have hindered the pass game because Purdy was he made some great passes. I won't lie. I give the guy credit. He made some passes, but you needed that run game. That run game really, I think, bothered Kansas City. I don't think they could have stopped it. And at that point, you would have been able to probably get Kittle more involved, would have opened up some more things. I think for San Fran, it was Jennings. If they had gone to Jennings more, they may have won this game. It seemed like he had favorable matchups. So I think if they had run the ball a bit more, had used Jennings in some different spots, that probably would have opened up some things for Ayuk and some of the other guys. Because it seems like Kansas City had no answer for him, which was really, really strange to see. So you can't fault him for his effort whatsoever. On Kansas City, I think you got to say Chris Jones on defense. I would say, yeah, those guys had their catches and all, but Chris Jones, if that offensive line of San Fran holds up Chris Jones on a couple plays, we could be talking about a whole different ending to this game. Chris Jones was incredible. He definitely earned his 1-year contract, and now he's going to want to cash in. So if Kansas City doesn't want to pay him, he's going somewhere else and cashing big. But no, Chris Jones definitely for me. For the first half or so, San Fran was doing a 4-man front. They were just sending four, and that was enough to cause them issues. I don't know why they decided to go to a 5-man after that and such. And next, because that fifth guy was dropped back, so there was another guy in coverage. It bothered Patrick, but for some reason they decided to change things up defensively, and you could kind of see Reed able to figure out what was going on, and that's how they were able to score. That's how they were able to start getting Travis the ball and able to kind of get the offense going. I don't know why they changed from the 4 to the 5, but I'm not an NFL head coach. I can't speak to that. Shanahan can, but like it made no sense for literally almost 3 full quarters. You handled that offense. Why change what you're doing? At this point, what do you say? Oh, he's like a great regular season head coach, but when the lights are brightest, he can't pull it off. So now, yeah, but you get there and you lose. Like what? So that it's like saying Marv Levy, great coach, but can't win the big one. So yeah, you end up being a Hall of Famer, but you always have that asterisk next to you saying, well, couldn't win the big game. Longevity was his key, but he never won the big one. So at this point, and we talked about this last show, I felt that this was their best chance to win. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So you've got this game. He was the coordinator on that epic Falcons team, 28-3. So there's all these footnotes. Yeah, yeah. So until he wins one, it's gonna be, yeah, okay, he's a great coach, but just can't win the when it counts, can't win the big one. Very true. No, honestly, the last 2 minutes were great. Like, all right, so Usher's sitting out there on the field, whatever. Like, all right, cool. I see how it starts out. And then, does his first couple tunes. All right. I don't need Alicia Keys on the piano getting all emo and singing their love songs. I'm at the Super Bowl. I'm having a party. I'm sitting here. I'm trying to get jacked up. Like I'm trying to be excited. I'm not sitting there listening to, Weeby 108 after hours. Anyone from Connecticut or up north, about Weeby 108? Love songs at night with Delilah. Like, I'm not trying to hear that. Like, and the next thing I'm like, okay. He comes out on the roller skates. Okay. I'm like, all right. But then when Little John shows up, I'm like, all right, the world is good again. Ludacris shows up, Ludacris shows up, and I'm like, all right, now I'm enjoying myself. Like, it should be upbeat. I don't need the emo stuff in the middle there. At that point, I'm like, let me go get something to eat. I don't have time for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, there you go. You're like, all right. But well, times were good, right? No, but over it was decent. It was decent, but I could do without the Alicia Keys emo stuff in the middle there. No, I enjoyed the ones at the end. The first one I could do without. She didn't need to. I really didn't need Alicia Keys. I didn't. You might as well just brought Taylor down and had her sing a little melody while you're at it. Like, I would have turned it off. I would have been like, nope. I would have watched the ESPN Gamecast on my phone and just played Madden. I would have been like, no, I'm not watching this. This is ridiculous. Then I would have known there was collusion. No. comes down out of the box on a rope or something on a string, like in Disney World, like Tinkerbell comes from the castle and comes on down there, and everyone's like, "Ooh!" That's what she would have looked like, singing one of them songs about one of the 12 guys she hates, because that's what she does. You know. Oh, don't worry, Gary. This is gonna be the summer of unloving. It's gonna happen. My God, the only reason why I'm kind of happy football season's over because I don't have to hear this bull crap. I'm sorry. Good Lord, I'm done with it. But no, like I said, decent show. Didn't need Alicia Keys that much, but hey. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I was impressed with that. He did sing. I was impressed. Nowadays, I'm so numb. I'm so numb to it. If they don't sing, I'm just like, okay, let me see the the theatrical aspect of it because I know you're probably not singing it. So, but no, it was good that he sang it. It was great, but it was a C plus. C plus for me. It was decent. It was decent. Like I'm not like wow, man. Like if I could have gotten rid of Alicia Keys, I would have taken the Taj Mahal stage. You mean like when well, a couple years ago when Lady Gaga like jumped off like the roof supposedly and all that fun stuff? See, that was fun, theatrical. I can dig that. I don't need Alicia Keys there on her piano. Like I don't need that. I'd rather have Lady Gaga jumping off the roof, throw some explosions. All right, there we go. It's like a summer blockbuster. I'm ready to go. You know what? It's for the NFL. Then that's what you do. It's what you do. The NFL is worth it. They're not doing it. They're not doing that at the World Series. No one cares about who's performing there. It's Bob. It's like Bob. It's like Bob Joe and his cows and his trombone or something there. No one cares. No one's performing at the World Series. Super Bowl, man, jump off the stage, blow off some explosions, make it happen. Only Super Bowl. Bravo. That's right. Patrick, Mr. I want to be the man. Well, you know what? You're not the man when you're retired and you're still showing up during the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, man, that Dunkin' commercial, beautiful. Dunk Kings. I give respect to Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jennifer Lopez. Incredible, incredible commercial. Good times. I was like, what are you? What? I go, Tom, don't you have something better to do? But I was like, all right, I can. All right, I'm like, not bad, not bad. He gets like two commercials. I'm like, you know what, Tom? That's right. You let them know. Don't forget you. That's why he did it. I think he was like, you know what? Everyone's talking about Patrick. Don't worry, I'm gonna be around somewhere. He was all like sideways. He was like, hello, I'm Michael Sarah. I was like, what is this? I'm like, I'm like, yeah, I know you haven't done anything really big in a while, but like this is what we're doing at this point. I'm like, Michael, you're killing me here. You're killing me. Like you said, a little creepy, but I was like, all right, whatever. A tad creepy, but eh. But overall, I thought the commercials were fun. The Beyonce one for Verizon wasn't bad. It was all right, you know. But very, yes, very tastefully done. I have much respect. I enjoyed that one. Yeah, man, I was like, wow, Carl. And it's like you saw him, and it was like, wow, man, like you can't be gone, Carl. But much respect to Carl Weathers for sure. But no, that was a good one. Movies were looking kind of good, you know. Yeah, Wicked. I'm a little. You know what? I kind of feel like it's a little late for it. Like you figured you would have saw it a couple years ago. Like you would have figured they would have jumped on that. But better late than never. So I think that could be interesting. The Twisters. So I'm kind because if you watch that, it literally just reminded me of Twister, except they just put new people in it. Like literally, like the scene that they showed with like the little weather balls looked like it was the same ones from the movie, from the first one. So I'm like, so I don't know if it's a sequel, a reimagination. I don't know. I'll have to read up more on it, but I was waiting for Helen Hunt to come walking by. No, when it comes to the movies, it's just rehash it, and America will pay for it. I guess they probably were like, you know what, we could do this, but it's pretty simple, So let's. They were they weren't bad. They were funny commercials. I liked the one when he was the mascot. I thought that was kind of cool. I wanted him to get hit by somebody though. I didn't, the whole. I wanted him to like a linebacker or something, just to smack him or something. I was looking for that, but overall, they weren't. Those weren't too bad. That was all right. Think about it. You can bring him back out of retirement. I'm sure he's still got the guns. I'm sure he could come across and just give him a good pop. Mhm. No, no, I don't. Not the way this team is constituted right now. Like, let's be honest here, okay? And I'm not taking anything away from Kansas City, okay? Taking away my disdain for what's her name and all of that, and what's her name and the fact that we're force fed Patrick Mahomes like nobody's business, okay? Besides all of this, the way that team is constituted now, they got lucky that they won in the sense that San Fran totally went against what they did for that literally 3 quarters of the game. The way the AFC is now, and those teams, especially in their division, are getting better. It's there's no way it's going to happen. I don't think they're strong enough. I don't think they have enough weapons around Patrick to do that. Now, mind you, Travis Kelsey, you know, people would probably say the best tight end in the league. But when you're throwing tantrums like that and nearly knocking your coach over, there's some issues. That there's some, Like I get fire. I get, being competitive and all that. You want to throw something, like I get that. But you're literally bumping your coach, and it's like, come on, dude. Now you're looking bad. You're really looking bad. So I don't know if they have the weapons. Like, they're gonna have to get better at wide receiver. They have to. They can't go in with what they have now. I don't trust any of those cats. Um, Travis is gonna get slower. Like, let's be real. I don't think he's going to be able to put up the numbers you know, the incredible numbers that he puts out now. I don't think he can. I think that teams have finally kind of figured out how to handle him. I think San Fran has kind of given a blueprint how to handle him, because they pretty much shut him down for 3 quarters. Um, I don't know. I don't think so. I think what'll happen is they probably still could win the division. A lot of those other teams are in flux, changing a lot of things. So I'd give them the division, but right now, if you're telling me them against the Jets with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna be real. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. True, but I don't know if Jones comes back. He's going to want to get paid big money, and Kansas City has a lot of young guys they got to pay. Like, it's coming up. Like, it's great to sit there in the moment and say, yeah, run it back and all, but in a couple of weeks they're going to be sitting there going, okay, well, we got to pay somebody, and we can't pay somebody. So who are we keeping? Who are we letting go? And if you let Chris Jones go, that's a big part of that defense. It's that heart and soul of that defense. I'm so over this mumbo jumbo. Whatever. Hooray for Nicole Hartman. Another wide receiver who pretty soon is going to be a non-existent factor. Like, he caught touchdown. I'm going to give the guy all the credit in the world. He got out of a bad situation. He could have basically sat and rotted the bench with the Jets. Got picked up. Got himself a ring. Give him all the credit in the world. But let's be real. Kansas City needs some serious help on at wide receiver. If you want to run it back and all of that, that's fine. But you're going to have to figure out your cap situations and such, because that you got to pay some people. That defense is young, but those guys are all coming up pretty soon. So it's I don't think they can. I don't think they can win 3 in a row. I don't see it happening. I'd I'd go 50-50. I think how I see it is this. You've got Patrick Mahomes, you always got a chance. I get all of that, but you need guys that can catch the ball. Um, Pachenko can't run like that forever. Like, if he gets hurt next year, that offense is grounded the way it's all set up. So they're going to have to shore up the like I said, wide receivers. The AFC is an interesting scenario. You got teams that are rebuilding, teams that are retooling. So I just don't know if if they're strong enough to make it through that process. Like I said, I think the Jets are going to be solid. I think they're going to be a couple other teams. With the way that the Chiefs are built, they're going to have to hang their hat on that defense. That defense is going to have to carry them. Mm-hmm. Right. No, of course. Well, no, of course, in the moment you're going to be like, yeah, we're going to run it back. We're going to do this, then you have the parade and everybody's all hyped. Travis is going to jump around the stage like a moron and, do his thing, sing his Beastie Boys and, this, that, and the other thing. Great, whatever. But I honestly think there'll be a point during the offseason where Andy's going to sit there and say, okay, well, if we're really going to do this, then I need pieces. I need better pieces than what I have. And it's the cold, hard truth. And he's going to have to go to management and be like, hey, if you want another one of these, you want to be, a three-peat and all this, I got to improve here on the offense. We got to figure something out. So, no, I think Andy Reid's a level-headed guy, and I think he understands the whole, you enjoy the moment for what it is because you don't know when you're going to get back. I don't think he's one of those coaches who's going to believe the hype and get all full of himself. But I also think he's a realist, and he's going to say, hey, if we're going to do this again, I need better pieces. Right now, for me, he's third. I think he's third, and it's a situation where he wins that fourth. Then yeah, then at that point, you can say he overtakes Montana. But you'll have the purists who will say, well, Montana went 4-0. So, and if you're honest, for the most of this game, Patrick wasn't great. He was okay. It wasn't like he dazzled. You know, he performed when it counted. I'll give him credit and also, but if people who are all about stats and numbers are all, they're gonna be like, well, Patrick was okay. So right now, I think he's third. If he wins the fourth, then yeah, you give him past Montana. But for me, if you really want him to approach Brady, 5 or 6, and then I can sit there and say, all right, I'll have the conversation with you. No, if you're talking records, no, because because he's going to have to put in close to 20 years, well, probably at least 16 years, 17 years to approach like total yards and all of that, right? Because that's still a while. If you're talking numbers, then he's got that. Now, it's one of those things where people always talk numbers, physical talent, and all that. Physically, yeah, he's better than Tom. I'll give you that. The guy's physically gifted and makes all the throws and then some. I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, I think most people will tell you with 2 minutes left in the game, they're taking Brady. When you look at Brady's career, and it's nearly a Super Bowl win every 3 years, pretty impressive for that long. So, like, I'm not taking anything away from Mahomes, but I still think it's way too early to be anointing somebody the GOAT. And, they haven't hit 10 years yet. Like, let me see. Let me see it without Travis. Let me see you with a bunch of hodgepodge pieces. Then we can talk some more. But he's on his way. But right now, to me, he's third. Exactly. So then what happens if if next year, like the next 4 or 5 years, they go on a downward spiral and it just then it's like, oh well, is he good or is he not? Are you just going to take that beginning of his career and that's it? Because if you take Brady's career, you literally could chop it up into 3 Hall of Fame careers if you really wanted to. So like I think everyone needs to hold it, enjoy the ride, and see where he ends up in 15 years if he plays that long. Then let's have the conversation. No, very true. Exactly. And then you're sitting there saying, yeah, in the moment we thought, this was going to be a 7, 8 year run, and we threw out all this money to Patrick, and now it's like, well, you got this quarterback who's making a ton of money, and you got nothing else to go around. I think at some point, what'll happen is if they start to hit hard times, Mahomes will sit there and say, you know what? I gotta give something back because I want to be able to get back because it's been an incredible ride these last 4 years, 3 4 years, but you've got to be realistic and say what happens when you have that 3 or 4 year drought and everyone's saying, oh well, you're the greatest, so why aren't we winning? And it's because all the winning is in your bank account. Not happening. Not happening. Nope. Nope. Swift will break up with him. He'll go into an emotional downward spiral. Who knows? We'll find out. Patrick's wife's cheated on him too. It's gonna be a mess now. No, not with those hodgepodge receivers. They got lucky today. Not happening. Nope. No. Can't see it. 47. It's insane. We sat here and have babbled for 47 episodes. Incredible. Incredible. Yeah. Wow. It's a great year. A lot of ups, some downs. Taylor Swift, you take it or leave it. But it's been awesome, sir. It's been an honor and a privilege. Um, can't wait to get back in the saddle for next year. It'll be a lot of draft and fun stuff to talk about. But Chiefs are your champs. Got to tip your hat. But next year should be a good one.